Welcome back to another episode of Kotlin Bootcamp for Programmers. In this episode, I'm going to teach you about the inheritance in programming. As with other principles of object-oriented programming, inheritance is meant to optimize the work of programmers. The role that inheritance plays in this optimization is in allowing software engineers to create class hierarchy where classes and objects inherit properties and behaviors from other classes or their parents. We can call it the superclass. A class that inherits from a parents or superclass is called a subclass or child class, and an object that receives properties and behavior from the parents through an inheritance or referred to as a child object. Inheritance provides a mechanism for establishing relationships and building hierarchy of class and object compositions. Inheritance means the use of code that is pre-written or created previously, and one thing to keep in mind is that we are just using the code and not updating or changing it. So why we want to use inheritance, or what is the advantage of inheritance? There are lots of advantages. For example, when we use inheritance, so frequently use of code once written, once we create or once we have written one code, we can use it multiple times. One superclass can be used for number of subclass and hierarchy, and no changes to be done on all base classes. Just once you created one base class, you just change the code on the base class, and that changes will perform in all the subclasses. Inheritance is used to generate more dominant objects. Inheritance avoids duplicity and data redundancy. Inheritance is used to avoid space complexity and time complexity. Let's get to an example. For example, we have three classes here. We have one class HR, one class coding part, and one class marketing. Now, in HR department, we have the department name and we have the department manager. They are string HR and string it is John. And we have one print data. In this print data, we have department name, we have department manager, and then we have job, or what HR do. The second department, we have coding department. So this is the department name is coding and department manager is Ahmad. And same thing, print data class, print data function we had here. So same function we have here. Department, it prints department name, it prints department manager. And again, for developing product, it is the what coding do, it develops the product. For example, it is the member function specified to coding. And now in the marketing section, again we have department name and department manager same, and we have, but the department name or changes here. And now the print data is same, like department name, department manager, and it will print department manager, this one. And this function is same here, it is same here, and it is same here. Yeah, 3 times we repeated one functions. And even if our code become larger, we created more departments, so that function will be more generated redundant. In every class we will have this. So what if we make these, remove all of these, we create one instance of this. For this purpose, let's create one more class and call it as a mncoder. Now class mncoder, and let's keep it as it is. Now for that, I want to inherit, I want to remove this, I want to remove all of this, Ctrl X. I want to print that or import that into here. And also keep remember that we have this too, and also we have this two here. It is same till here, everything is same. I want to remove this one, I want to remove this one, John, because we have the department name, we have the department manager in every department, but the variable are changing here, the variable are changing here. Now I want to make one instance of this department and keep it as a blank, because main coder, it is not a manager, it is the base organization. And then we divide that main coder to department, we initialize that department. Now for that, to get access to this print data, we have to extend this main coder. How we can extend that? We can put a colon, and after that we can type the mn coder here. We can type the mn coder here. For this, look at this. This type is final, so it cannot be inherited from main coder. In Kotlin, every class is by default final, like this. It is by default final class. Every class is final by default. We don't need that. But in Java or C++, they are not final. They are public, so they are not final. And now, if we want to inherit, because the final class cannot be inherited, we have to change this final to open class, that allows us to inherit that. Look at this. Now that error is removed. Now again we have one error here. Department name height member of supertype need to be override modifier. Now this is again, these are override modifier. We have to override these like this, override. We have to override these things in our base class. We have the same thing. It means when we extend and when we inherit the HR, when we inherit a main coder, it means now we have department name here and department name here. Again, we have two department name. For that purpose, we have to override that. It means we have to make this one open, again like that, open, and I have to change this one also open, and now we can override that functions that will take us different values. Override. Now every time we have to override these two variable in every these departments. Now same thing, I want to do it as a mn coder, and I want to change these two to override, and also override. Why it is showing error here, print data? Because if we extend this main coder, we have this print data already, we have that. But if we don't override that, we will get this error. We can remove this error by the help of override, and we can make it as a open. We can remove this error here. And now we don't need here this function, we don't need here. We want to remove this one. We don't need any changes here. I want to remove this one, and also we don't need here because we don't want redundant data. We already had here. If we extend, it means now this HR is a main coder, this coding is a main coder, and also this marketing is now it will become mn coder. Now we extend that everything exists in that everything exists in a main coder. We have that data member function, everything we have in this HR. Now if we see, we remove the print from here. We don't have in marketing, we don't have print data, and we have only one print data here. And now we can access this print data here. If you see here, for example, I want to access HR and object I created. Now inside that object what I have job, I have print data. As you see, job is highlighted, and print data also we can access that. We can have job, it is specific to this one, this is main encoder, and we have the print data. We have the print data. Even though we in HR there is no print data, but this HR extends this main encoder, and the main encoder we have this print data. Now this print data will print as the data of HR. Now let's see. If we see now the department name is HR and the department manager is John. Now if you see the HR part, look at this, the department name is HR and department manager is John. Look at this. Now we remove all these parts from our code and we make it here, and we print it, paste it here, and we can use it inside this coding, inside this marketing, everywhere. Now let's use that inside the coding department, and coding department dot print data, and also in the marketing department dot print data. Now as you see, we can access all elements of the base class into the subclass. So this is the base class that we derive it, and this is the derived class. HR is the derived class, or we can call it as a child class, or we can call it as a subclass. And this class is a parents class, or we can call it as a super class. We can call it as super class, base class, parent class. We can call these names. And now as you see, we overrided these departments. It means when we override any data, for example this department name has nothing, but we override this department here. It means go to HR if it has department name and get that department name from here. If we don't override that department name here, let's see the output. If we don't override the department name here, and by default the department name is, for example, we can make it as a default. Here it will get the default value and it will print as the default value here. Look at this default. It means if we don't override here, we have that department name. Even though we don't have department name in the HR, as we print the data, we don't have the department name in the HR sections, but we have the department name in the base class. This function will get the department name from this default class. But if this is the default, but if this HR has overridden the department name, it means it already exists. Do something up on these functions. It means it will cover the base data. Now if you see here, now it will get the department name as HR. So this is for inheritance. If you like the video, please thumbs up. If you don't like the video, please comment below so that we can improve ourselves. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to my channel, and see you soon on the next video.